Welcome to these Sci-Fi guys. I'm your host Dave, and with me, as always, is Chad and John. I'm trying a different screen layout here, just see how things go at the beginning. Hey, we are going to be doing War of the Worlds. Man, I cannot talk today whatsoever. This is the one from 2005 with Tom Cruise. You know, you can't have a Tom Cruise movie without him running. We'll just leave it at that. All right. I have never seen this movie. I thought I did until I watched it this week. I was like, I have never seen this. So, and I'm sure there'll be lots of discussion. John, you're the one that picked this. I assume you've seen it, or you just were like, hey, kind of a.
So I realized I thought I had watched more of it than I had. I have seen it, but apparently only in bits and bytes. So it was a good watch for me. I'm definitely I read the book at least. So I mean, of course, the book is not even close. The book is just source material.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if you go back to the one in the 1960s,
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't meant to be an adaptation. It's kind of hard to adapt the book.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, it was like, it was like an audio, when he did the whole radio thing, that people freaked out and thought it was real.
Mm-hmm.
But it really was in this movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's go ahead and start. Okay, this week John has the questions this week.
Yeah, that makes for an interesting time. I asked some weird ones.
Always.
Always, yeah, always.
Anyway,
You can always get something from John about music, about the videography, or something that's out there. Usually mine is something to do with real world, and Chad is, comparing it to.
Yeah.
So
I'm just a nerd. It is what it is. I accept
it
your
is. Oh, we accept you. We love you.
Either way. So speaking of that side of things, I know one of the things that gets this film at least some more notoriety is a lot of the sound design in it, particularly of the aliens. And so, kind of one of the first toss-ups I wanted to give you guys. What do you think about the general soundscape? The alien sound, the score itself behind everything, overall sound effects. What do you guys think?
I kind of got tired of the whole moose horn sounding in so many different movies. I mean, make it sound alien instead of just a moose, or
Yeah.
I just kind of, or I mean, it doesn't have to be English, but that's all they made one noise the whole time.
It's true.
I mean, if they were talking, like when they were going through the actual aliens themselves, if they were communicating in their own language, I could see something like that. But just the aliens themselves, I was just like, okay. We've seen this so many times in so many different movies. But the music itself was really good. I mean, I thought the score was good. I thought the score really enhanced what was going on, I mean, I thought about like when the little head was coming down and just, and just the you knew something was happening besides that because of the music, and the score was just, it was bringing you to another place almost, So that's what I would say. I would say, yeah, I really enjoyed the score, but I did not care for the aliens moose sound. Chad, how about you?
How about with you? The horn, moose sound, whatever you want to call it, it's been done plenty of times, even in a series of, I think it was an NBC or somebody did it. It was called Fallen Skies, and that's how.
Yeah. That was done by TNT or something. Yeah, I saw like the first two seasons of that. That was a pretty good show.
It is a pretty good show. And I got kind of lost where I was. So I need to go back and rewatch. But the thing is, you saw it, you heard it so many times. And it's not, oh, here's the big robot coming. Do it with the music, not the horn. Yeah, the score was good. Like you got, when Jason was coming, you heard
Yeah,
Sure.
you could tell when things were happening because the score was good. It really was. It really brought it to the next level. I guess it would be the
Mhm.
best way to say it.
Yeah, there you go. And I kind of feel the same way. It started off real strong because the foghorn was real nice on the front end. Um, but you're right. After about the 30th time, you're kind of like, okay, I get it. We could have had other sounds at this point. It's like they tossed that one big one out there and we're like, it's what we have, and so they used it to death. But I definitely agree in terms of the score adding some, uh, like you said, it brought it to the next level. I think it could have been very stuck where it was otherwise, but I think that took it up a step. Well, on the other side of things, and actually watching the whole thing and the story of it, what do you think of the combo of a dad getting closer to his kids? Because that's kind of a film genre in of itself. I know a lot of times we hit that with comedies and dramas. What do you think about that element, along with just straight up, oh, the world's ending? Do you think they played that out well, or no?
I'll let you start, Chad.
Yeah, I think they played it out well, but the thing is, you don't expect it. No, and the thing is, why did it take this long for you to get along with your kids? Like, so I get what they're trying to do and try to here's the end of the war. I'm gonna bond. We gotta make it here. But how you not know your daughter or how what she does if you don't? So that's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's been done a lot in sci-fi movies, especially apocalyptic times where, you get the father that'll reconcile with either the wife, the children, or one of the children. Um, in this case, it was he reconciled with both of his kids, mostly his daughter because his son was a moron, and decided to, hey, I want to go fight and I want to do this and you know but I mean, you kind of could tell from the beginning he was not a good dad, especially if he knew that was the weekend he was getting the kids and he didn't have any food in the fridge, and you didn't clean up a little bit, I mean, come on. I mean, and you didn't know your daughter was allergic to peanut butter and she was what, 10, 9, 10. I have no idea how old she was. It's supposed to be, but you think by that point,
You know it.
kind of know, oh, you can't eat peanut butter.
Yeah, he was not the greatest of dads. I mean, they definitely opened the film strong, very strong on that point. Um, which do you think he did actually improve, or do you think circumstances just made him have to try to protect them?
I think circumstances made him have to protect
Mhm.
him. I don't really think. Well, no. I mean, I think back to when he had talked to his son at one point. And he was like, "Look, your sister needs you. You know, I need you, and your sister needs you. I think at that point is when he started realizing, hey, we might not make it out of this. You need to be with your family.
Yeah,
And he wasn't trying to get them to Boston just to pawn them off on their mother, I mean, I think he was truly trying to get everyone back together.
Yeah.
completely fair. Well, in that same vein, what do you think were some of the more heart wrenching moments? Because I feel like they tried to throw some out there. I don't necessarily think they hit as hard as they could have, but there definitely were still some there. So, in your opinion, what do you guys think were some of the best or worst, depending on how you look at it?
The the scene with the father and daughter when in the basement,
When
or
he blindfolded her.
blindfolded her, or even that, hey, blind, I don't care what you hear, you don't take this off. Because right then he knew there was fight and flight with the, because now he realized he got to be a father. He had to protect. Only way to protect her is just get that person out of the picture.
Yeah, and I wish they would have done more with it, but when they were on the ferry and his son climbed up there to help the people
Yeah.
who were just hanging on. Um and you could see it in Tom in his eyes that he was like, wow, I'm so proud of you. You're out there trying to save people even in the middle of an apocalypse. But he never said anything. To me, I thought that was just such a missed opportunity. Just, hey, this is how you start to reconcile with your son. And I just thought it was missed. So, I mean, when you said heartwarming, I thought it was heartwarming at first because I was like, oh, good, this is, and then it just didn't happen.
Yeah, an expectation subversion, just in a bad way.
Yeah. I was expecting it. I was like, all right, yes, here it comes. What? Really? Nothing? Just throw him in the water? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, there was so many times where, I could see where he was trying to, where let me phrase that, where they were trying to, in the script, make things heartwarming, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There was, like in the van, when he's like, hey, I just want my daughter. I just want you can take the van. I just want my daughter. They could have done that in a little bit more of a heartwarming way, and they didn't, but I still think at the same time, he's like, look, just take the van. I don't care. I just want my daughter. I was kind of heartwarmed at that too.
Yeah. That one was kind of the more surprising me. That one was almost heart-wrenching in the like, oh, that's probably a real situation that would happen. Just in the sense of like somebody would try to come up and take the van, and then that guy just gets offed as well. Like, just that whole idea and play out. Like, what if this dad had just risked his kid's life trying to keep the van, and it still ended up that way? Like, no matter what, it's a lose-lose, just for everyone involved. And I think that just the reality of that probably happening, should something like that happen to the world, was kind of heart-wrenching in of itself. And then I think that split choice between the two kids,
between his son or his daughter.
Yeah, like that would be tough in real life. Now, again, I fully agree with you in the fact of they kind of downplay a lot of those moments that could have been a lot more touching. But even that one, that would be hard, just downright difficult in real life. And obviously, I mean, I think he made the right choice as dad, because the son's going to try to act that way. I mean, at some point, you got to do what you can to protect the one you can. But that was still extremely hard to think about and watch in that sense too. So, yeah. Right. So, in regards to these big aliens entering what's essentially a mech, at least the way the movie presented it, if something were like that were to happen, like anywhere, where would you guys want to be in the world if that were to take place?
My house. because we live in a small town. We do not live in Atlanta. We do not live in Jacksonville or Washington D.C. or Chicago or where these things are tearing stuff up. Hey, if that thing, because there's a swamp right next door to my house, if that thing was anywhere near it, they would have been sunk. They wouldn't have been able to get it out. And there's plenty of woods to hide in. I think in an apocalypse, that's definitely, you need to be in the woods. You need to find some kind of shelter, but still away from civilization, because that's where, when there was crowds of people, is when you seem to see several of those mechs. I think is the best word. We'll just stick with that, around. So yeah, I wouldn't mind staying where I'm at. I'm good.
What about you, Chad?
They're the same. Stay put, or at least find some place where there's not a lot of people around. Just secluded.
Yeah, I'm with both of you guys on that. If I could pick anywhere in the world, I would probably choose the most cliche version of Florida Man, Florida that you could, and just go.
Or if I had my own private island, maybe,
Yeah, that could be fine.
Or you're on
But like,
mountaintop.
just the names of all the crazy Florida people doing crazy Florida people stuff, and like full redneck classic Florida, I would take that all day if something like this were to happen. They would pull some, Star Wars AT-AT mess, tie them up, sling them down. It'd be a great time. It'd be fun to watch. That's where I'd want to be.
Or
I don't know. I'd like to watch that. I'm not sure I'd want to be there.
Yeah, I watch it.
I'd be watching that all day long.
Or get on top of find a mountain. Get on the very tip top of the mountain. Nobody.
Oh, that's too cold. I hate the cold, so no, I couldn't do that.
Not in the Appalachia. They're like 60.
No, okay, maybe
you know,
like in yeah,
Yeah.
well, just
that's fair.
someplace you're going to be able to have wildlife, and someplace you're going to be able
Yeah.
to farm or whatever, so you can have
Yeah,
some
it's
kind
the
of
perfect
be able
combo.
to survive.
They have the high ground.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that brings us to the last question, though. Of course, the movie kind of drops the aliens just kind of dying out due to a new environment. Why do you think they would do that if they're seemingly more evolved? I mean, clearly they have that huge technology with these big robot seeming things. Because the lightning coming down and the aliens shooting into the machines that were buried a long time. Like, if the machines are buried a long time, it seems like they would have been here. So why are they just dying out to stuff that's here on Earth?
Mm,
I
well,
don't
you got
know.
to think.
Come
Go
on,
ahead.
Chad. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, I'm going to put you full screen too when you say it.
Don't put me full screen. I hope I'll be quiet. No, the thing is, you got to think. The things might have probably put them there a long time ago, but they haven't been living in there or living inside it. So they're coming from a different planet with their own problems, with their own microfiber organisms. They think about it. What's opposites not going to join together. They're always going to fight. They're going to push away. So you got to think their own. We have our own microfibers that we know we can live with, that diseases that we're there, but they didn't have it. So I think that's what secluded them is they was not as immune to little things that we are. So got to think about that. It's more sciencey.
Well, even if they're sciency, I mean, and more technologically advanced, you're still going to. All right. Well, let's just look right now in America. All right. Everywhere you look, there's a hand sanitizer, and it kills
Mhm.
99.9% of bacteria. Blah 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 blah. Right. Well, I'm older than both of you guys. When I was a kid, we played in dirt. All right.
Dirt.
We,
Yep.
but we didn't get sick like we do now. Now if you get sick, you get a super bug because it's something that is resistant to that bacteria, to hand sanitizer or whatever. And I think it's the same way with these guys is, they weren't from here. They planted their mechs and then they left. And then when they came back here and you saw them when they were underground, they were just gobbling up the water, and how many microorganisms are in
Mhm.
just in regular water too, that our bodies are used to, but an alien wouldn't be. I mean, I think of I know it's a TV show, Stargate SG-1. That was one of
Mm.
the big things that they pushed on the show was, every time they go through the gate, they could bring potentially a killing disease to another planet, or another planet bring one to here.
Mhm.
Because we don't have the same DNA, or we're not used to the same things that are out there.
Yeah.
So I think that's how they explained it and closed out this movie. Um, I was kind of glad. I was afraid that they were going to,
Black screen.
yeah, exactly, and just say, okay, everyone died. The end.
I mean, that would have been a
Maybe that might be part of the fixing and improving. Who knows?
yeah. Oh well, I mean, that's all I have for questions. So we can roll a little bit.
Okay, let's roll. Okay, plot holes. What'd you guys think? I want your opinions. I did not write down a whole lot of them. I'll be honest. I've had a crazy week, so I got a couple in my head, but I didn't write anything down. So, starting with you, John, since you picked this movie, give me what your plot hole.
Honestly, again, I think the aliens as a whole. I think really the film should have picked if they were just aliens coming from like a mothership, or if they were big giant robots. Like I don't know that whole robot filled with an alien through lightning thing. That to me, that's just a plot hole in of itself. Like I don't know. It didn't play out well to me. It didn't make a whole lot of sense in terms of like what they were. I think either go full alien or go, full giant and just call it a day. I think that mixture was a little weird. I also think that they
Well,
definitely
here,
should have made old Tommy.
let me jump in here and help you. All right. Why did these aliens even bother to bury these tripods in the first place? I mean, did they think, oh, these guys are going to get technologically advanced to a point where we can harvest them?
To what?
No.
I mean,
Well, you gotta see when they were in the house when the medic was spreading out red like blood. Really, I think that's what it was. But you saw them take a human and drink.
okay, then that's a plot hole too. Why at the beginning they were blasting everybody and just killing them, and then halfway through the movie they said, you know what, we need to go ahead and stab them and then suck their blood out.
Yeah,
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's and get them or put them up there and just have a little snack.
Yeah, I don't know.
Their general idea to me is that this whole idea that Tommy Boy is such a bad dad. I think they took that extreme a little too far in the beginning, so it was kind of hard to come back from that. Really, I was just like, man, you kind of stink. Like, why? Which, in all fairness, I give him credit. He did try to find the ex-wife and either at least pass the kids back off because he thought they'd be safer or something. But at the same time, to me, generally, that whole dead relationship just didn't play out well in the long run. I wish they would have done something different than that. I mean, it's not necessarily a plot hole because not all, but all of the plot also kind of relies on that being a thing. So I think they should have added either some elements that would have shifted how that played out, or not made him quite seem so bad at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what was, I know it's not a plot hole, but what was the whole thing at the beginning of him being able to stack the containers so good? I just, that was not
What is the
necessary.
They could have used it for something. It could have been.
And I mean, they
not-
didn't use. He didn't get to use that as a way to destroy an alien or anything. I mean, it was like,
man, that would have been so cool. Just throw a missile in one of those, and that he launches it with the crane.
yeah, or something. Anyway, Chad, do you have any?
Yeah, other than the why blast humans and not grab. Okay, you want to eat some food. Let's get. You got a lot of them in front of you.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, that was the part that was just kind of throwing me the worst. Is hey, one moment it's they're blasting them left and right to Kingdom Come, and then oh, next time we're gonna go ahead and suck out their blood. I mean, just I wasn't getting that. And what did they do with that? Were they harvesting? Were they making food with it? I mean, it was like all over the place with vines that just kind of broke. I mean, that's those are the things that kind of just fell flat for me. Besides the EMP, oh, let me just throw that out there. The EMP. Why is some places it work, other places it doesn't? You're not going to fix a car by replacing the solenoid after an EMP happens because it's going to fry the solenoid that you're trying to replace it with. If anything, and I'll go ahead and I'll throw this out. I know it's part of fix. Actually, I'll save it for fixing and improvements. Let me save it for that.
Cut the transition.
All right, here we go. We're going to go in transition now.
Yeah. Now we're here.
Okay. A 1965 Mustang would not be affected by an EMP. So you introduced it at the beginning of the movie. Keep the same car. You make everybody happy. People get to see a cool Mustang, you didn't know how perfectly lined up every car was so they could just drive through cleanly. I mean, I don't know. There was times where I mean, don't get me wrong, Spielberg with the videography and like when the one guy was getting blasted who was holding the camera and the camera fell and then you could see the blast actually disintegrate on the camera. Things like that were like, oh, that's so cool,
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's Spielberg all the way. But fix that. I mean, where they're going to Boston. All right. Why hasn't Boston been attacked? If they're attacking people in this little dinky town that's right next to the water, but they're not going to attack Boston, or should I say Boston?
I'll say you almost did the first timer.
Yeah. First
I
thing
do. I have relatives that live up in Boston, so Boston. And they like to park the car, So
put it on the top of the tire.
yeah, I mean, they're fix so many of the little things, and especially the relationship. Make him proud, like I mentioned earlier. Make him proud of the son, and then he's like, okay, if you need to do this, but please find your way home. Find your way back to your mom.
Yeah.
That's where I'm taking your sister. We want you. You know what I'm saying? Make it a more tender moment, and why? And the way they made the aliens look just like the tripods, which I thought was dumb. I'm like the same head looking thing. I mean, make the tripods and make the aliens Asgards or little green guys or gray guys or whatever. Make them something different.
The alien head remind me of, remember Independence Day?
Independence Day, yeah. I was waiting for him to go, and then, yeah.
See, the thing is, like, one thing was question, he was seeing the vines and tearing it up. That thing didn't come down there until he starts messing with those vines.
Oh, you mean the snake head?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's like,
yeah, let's fix that too, because if you got that much technology, you don't know what the heck a mirror is. Come on, I mean, the light thing in the front look like a mirror. Come on.
Yeah, one of my biggest fixes, I think, overall too, would I don't know, give me more of the tripods in general on screen. Which I mean, towards the end they kind of hit it more, but I'd love to see more overall, more interaction. And honestly, I think I would have preferred stylistically if the film would have gone more almost documentary style, because it kind of hit just your classic cinema storytelling side. I think they would have chosen a more stylistic storytelling method. I think it could have worked out.
Like Cloverfield.
No. I know you're saying Cloverfield, but have you guys seen Civil War?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Civil War is, you think it's Civil War, you're like, oh, it's going to be a Civil War. It's all about the journalists and the photographers and what they're seeing during a Civil War. So I think if you would have taken that storyline and put it in this aspect, would have been so much better.
Yeah.
And two, one of my biggest pet peeves about the film, and it's a small thing. Did it ever mention the classic radio broadcast? Because I think that would have just been. I think it should have been included somewhere.
No, it wasn't.
No.
You mean the actual the
him reading this.
Then what was it? 69, 68 when it actually happened. It was late 60s.
Wasn't it?
And everyone thought, oh, the aliens were really attacking. Yeah, they could have had it on the TV as a spoof or something.
Yeah,
yeah. Somewhere. Speaking of
missed opportunity.
Missed opportunity and questions for me. How would you compare this to Chicken Little? Because honestly, thinking on it now, I think Chicken Little did a better job of War of the Worlds.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, and I'll tell you, I have been struggling with our next segment. I have been struggling for the last couple days on how I'm going to rate this. And since we're here, let's go ahead and rate it. John, you're the one that picked this movie, so you get to go first.
Thanks.
We're going to rate this. For those of you out there that are watching, we rate the movie that we watch. We rate it on a scale of 0 to 5 lightsabers. 0 being it sucked really bad. 5 being Empire Strikes Back, or something along that line. So, John, what do you rate
Baby.
War of the Worlds?
It is not a 0 and it's not a 5. I can guarantee that. In regards to other aspects, it's not close enough to a B rated film or a budget film to really hit it down on the one side for me. And it's also not on the 4, but I can't quite give it a 3. So I'm gonna throw a 2.5 at it. It's kind of mid-level for me. Some good elements, some bad elements, plot holes, but also a lot of things they could have fixed. So I'm gonna throw it somewhere around the 2.5.
Okay, 2.5. Chad, on to you.
Yeah, it was about the same. I'm about midway. I was just gonna give it a 3, middle of the road, because it's still a good movie. I would watch it again because the thing is, if you watch the original back in the '60s, it was based in one town. This showed them going from New York to Boston. So to me, it's a 3.
Okay, so 2.5, 3. I'm somewhere in there. Again, I'm still going through my head because Spielberg did a fantastic job on some of the video aspects of it. Really did. I mean, the whole when they're driving and then that camera basically just pans around the entire van from the side to the front to the other side. I thought that was fantastic. Again, I've already mentioned with the camera falling, it was filming it. It watched the guy blast, and you can see it on the camera. Tom Cruise, I thought was mechanical, I guess you could say. I mean, it wasn't. We've seen him in better. I've seen him in better. I mean, in so many different things. I think of a Few Good Men, or heck, Top Gun. Or Maverick. Any of those. I mean, he was good, and this was just kind of meh. I again, the storyline with the kids. And I just so many missed opportunities. I think I'm going to have to follow John. I really do. I think it's going to have to give it a 2.5. So, okay, I went 2.5. John went 2.5, and Chad went 3. Okay, everyone, we'd love for you to contact us. Best way to do that is through the YouTube comments. Give us a thumbs up, give us a like, give us a follow, and tell us in the comments what you'd like to see. We've got our year planned out, but we can always make some changes. We're also on all the social media networks at These Sci-Fi Guys. You can email us, TheseSciFiGuys at gmail.com. Okay, Chad picked the next movie. He probably doesn't even remember what it is. He's like, what is it? It's called, oh, wait a minute. Let me do this so you can actually read it. There it is. Mark Wahlberg in The Happening. So we're going to see a Mark Wahlberg movie. And it's not The Bourne Identity or any of the Bourne series.
No.
Right? That was Mark Wahlberg, wasn't it?
No, that was
No, that was Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
I get the two of those mixed up. I get Mark Wahlberg and Damon mixed up all the time.
Very true.
So, The Happening, and I can tell you, I have never seen this movie. It kind of looks a little bit like Inception from the movie poster.
Thing is, this is 3 years after the one we just got watched. So I think it's a good movie. I watched it before. I haven't seen it in a long time.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to watching it this week and coming back here next week and talking about it. Well, until next time, everybody. Crash and burn. In here somewhere. There it is. I can't even find my my outro button. There it is right there.